Hi everybody, this is Virginia Milner coming to you with another tutorial for the DeKalb County Library System. We are going to make a cha-cha bracelet. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Okay, yeah, that's enough of that. So what that is, what you do is take a selection of beads, and I'm using some paper beads that I got from Uganda. So neat. And show you this, some of those, and some polymer clay. So I'm kind of calling it paper and polymer. So I've got my paper beads, that's a few of those, and I've got some polymer clay. There's a few of those. And I'm also using some crackle beads, because what you're going to do is take a length of chain that's the size of your wrist and add a couple of inches just to make sure it's long enough. And you're going to make a simple loop with your beads, and you're going to put 1 or 2 beads on each of these links. Yes, that's a lot of beads, but you're going to put 1 or 2 on. It depends. It's up to you as far as how much fullness you want. I'm doing different sizes of beads, all different sizes, and you'll be able to see this better when you were on the other camera, because I think it gives it more fullness and body, and it just makes it more fluffy looking. So we're going to do that. We have a lot of beads to make into links. So we're going to get started. The things that you're going to need are round nose pliers, square nose pliers, or chain nose, cutters, a ruler, chain. Again, just small links. It doesn't have to be huge links. Just some standard size, maybe 4 millimeter, 3 by 4 millimeters for each link, so that you have space to put 1 or 2 beads on each one. And head pins and wire, because I'm going to be doing making some spirals on one and just putting others on head pins. So you'll see what I mean when we get started. So we're going to get going on that. We've got lots to do and a very pretty cha-cha bracelet to make. So let's get this. I did that again. That's just stop. So embarrassing. You'd think I was new at this. Anyway, let's get this cha-cha on the road. So we've got our beads. That jumped again, didn't it? We've got a nice selection of all different kinds of beads. We've got crackle beads. We've got our Ugandan paper beads. We've got polymer clay beads. We've just got everything here, and we're going to get going. So what I thought I would do with some of the bigger beads is just use the pins, because they're going to take up a lot of space. Now, if your head pins have very small heads on them, you might want to use a little 3 or 4 millimeter little bead on the end, just to make sure that your head pin won't go through the bead. So we're going to do that. So what I did was put this little 4 millimeter, no, this is about 3 millimeter bead on the end on my head pin, then put my bead on the head pin, and I'm going to bend it back at almost a right angle, take my round nose pliers and make a loop. So it doesn't have to be too big a loop. I'm going to go down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, and all pliers are not created equal, so you need to kind of determine how big you want your loop to be. And then I'm going to start to make a loop. I've got my wire clamped in between my pliers. No wire is sticking out the back here, because I want to make a nice round loop. And then I'm going to start turning my pliers and just keep rotating my pliers until I have a full loop. Now, the reason I bend it back before I start my turn is because if I start with my wire on the side and make my loop will end up on top of the bead, just like that. If I started with my wire standing straight up on top, the loop would end up on the side. And I really would prefer my loop to be on top. So there's one different kind. We're just going to do a couple of those. And really, when you're using the paper beads, the holes are not always drilled the same because it's a natural thing, and this could go right through the bead. So I'll put one of my little beads on here, and then put my paper bead, and now I know it's secure there. I'm gonna show you what happens if I don't bend the wire back. So if I don't bend the wire back, and I clamp my wire with my pliers again, the same way, don't let anything be sticking out the side, and I just make my loop that way, my loop ends up kind of hanging over the side of my bead. See if that's visible. So it's kind of over on the side of my bead. And that's correctable because I can just take my pliers, just a tip, and bend it back until it's on top again, and then close it back up. So now it's on top. No, I knew that wasn't going to work. Here we go. Can you see that? Come on. There we go. So now it's on top. So, and now I'm going to get a polymer clay. Now that one might have a hole that's small enough that I don't need to put anything on there. Yeah, that's good. I think that's a little clearer. Bend that back. And if I need to, I only need about 1/2 inch of wire. So what I'll do is grab something, if you have enough down here that you can hold on to the wire before you cut, that's great. If not, I kind of put it down into some little well, find my 1/2 inch spot. I just eyeball it, and then I cut it down into here so that I don't have to worry about wire flying all over the place. See, there it is right there. Nice and neat. And again, I'm gonna grab my wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers and make a loop. Here we go. Now that's one way to do them. And I'm also going to do some spiraled pins, some spiraled head pins, just to have something a little bit different to add to it. So what I'm going to do with that, I would just, those of you that get kits, you're going to get a long expanse of 20 gauge wire. And what you're going to do, this keeps going out of focus, I don't know what. What you're going to do is, I would just leave it intact, because what I'm doing is just leaving it on the spool. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to go down to the very tip of my pliers and grab the tip of my wire. And I'm going to make a tiny loop. So again, I'm going to rotate until I have a loop. And then I'm going to, there's my little loop. Then I'm going to continue to rotate until the wire starts to wrap around itself. And you can see I'm getting a little bit of a coil there. Then I'm going to take my flat pliers and grab the face of my wire, and I'm going to continue to wrap the wire around itself. And I'm using a two-handed method. I'm rotating with my pliers, and I'm also wrapping with the other hand. You can do one or the other, or you can do both, whichever is better for you. You can just hold it with this hand and do all the wraps with the plier hand, or you can hold the wire and use the other hand to wrap, or you can do a combination of the two. I don't need too big spiral, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to bend my wire like that until the long part is right on top of the tail. Then I'm going to decide what bead I want to put on. I'm going to put this one on, and I need to give myself about 1/2 inch of wire to do my loop. So I just kind of lay it up there against the wire, measure out another 1/2 inch beyond the bead, cut it off. Put my bead on. There we go. And now I'm going to wrap. Now I want this to kind of stand out so that it's seen. So I want to make my loop going this direction. My spiral is going that way, and my loop is going to go the other way. One's going to be going left and right, and the other is going to be front and back. So I'm going to bend my wire back like so. And make my loop just like I did all of the other times. I'm going to go around 1/3 of the way down my pliers, grab my my wire, nothing sticking out the back there, and make my circle. Nice loop. There we go. And now I have a nice spiraled link. Let's do a couple more of those. So let's do one of these nice little, and let's do a pink one. Yeah, let's do a little crackle bead. Again, I'm going to take my round nose pliers, make a spiral. Grab my flat pliers and continue wrapping the wire around itself to spiral it. Okay, and then I'm going to bend it back. Just need a 1/2 inch beyond my bead. Clip it off. Put my bead on. Bend my wire back. Again, I want the spiral to show, so I'm bending the wire back in the direction where the spiral is. Grab my wire around 1/3 of the way down my pliers. Make sure nothing's sticking out the back there, and make my loop. There. And let's do one more. Let's do a polymer clay this time. There we go. Yeah. Let's do a little polymer. Let's do a little one. Yeah, this purple one's pretty. All right. Let's do another spiral. Okay, wrapping it around until I have the spiral started. And finish it off with my square pliers. It doesn't need to be too big because I don't want it to overpower my little bead here. Bend it back. Give myself an additional 1/2 inch. Snip it off. Put my bead on. I have a little more than I need, so I'm going to cut that off, get my little thing here, cut it off down to 1/2 inch. There's my little tail, little end, move that out of the way. Bend my wire back, grab my round nose pliers, and make a loop. Yes. And this kind, the kind with the spiral on it, can also take the place of doing it with a pen and a little bead, because the spiral will help to fill in a large hole. I love that. I love it. I really think it's neat. So I'm going to do another one. This time I'm going to do a spiral on one of these bigger beads, and I can make a bigger spiral because I have a bigger bead. So let's do that. A little spiral. Finish it off with my flat pliers. Bend it back. I could have made it bigger, but that's okay. Clip it off. Down here. Yeah. Put my bead on. Bend it back and make my loop. There we go. We've got a nice start here. Keep going. Let's make a couple more. I love these paper beads. Love them. Absolutely love them. I looked up a video on YouTube to see how they did these paper beads in Uganda, and it is an amazing process. The entire village gets involved, and they do this as a way to support their families. Is that beginning? Yeah, they do this as a way to support their families in the village, and it's just amazing to see everybody rolling the paper, setting it out to dry, doing everything they need to do. I'm using a lot of paper beads because I like them. Doing everything that they need to do as a way of supporting themselves. It's just really fascinating. I love it. Okay. It's a pretty green one. And as you can see, it's a really easy process to do these. You can kind of do this while you're watching television until you get them all finished, and then you can put them on your chain. I'm not going to do any more because I know you're bored watching me do these. So I'm going to show you how to put them on the chain now. Crackles. Do I have enough crackles? Yes. So what I'm going to do, what you'll do is cut a piece of chain the length of your wrist and give yourself an extra couple of inches just to be safe. And then that way you'll have enough to make sure that you can wrap it around your arm. And if you need to clip some off, put it to the side. You can use it for earrings or something fun like that. So the first thing we want to do, I want to give myself a good inch or so away from the end before I start putting beads on, because I have to be able to link it on the side. And like I said, you want to put at least one on each link, two if you want. So let's start with that. Okay, so I'm going to start with, what do I want to start with here? I think I'll start with one of the, let's start with one of the paper beads. Okay, so what I want to do is just open my bead on the side. So I just grab my little ring, my little loop on this. Here's the side where it's open, and I just open that up like so. Slide it into the ring and close. And I'm going to grab another bead. Let's go with this pretty orange one. Open it up. And I think I'm going to put them on the same link. No, I'll put them on separate links because they're kind of big. No, I'll put them on the same link. So I'm just going to slide that into the same link that I have the yellow one on. And close it. And then I'm going to find another bead. I think I'll do this nice blue one. Again, I'm going to open it up off to the side like that. Go to the next link. Slide it on. Oops, it got cut on the first link. There we go. Slide that on, close it. Okay, and what you can do to make this a little easier for yourself is just go ahead and open all your loops up. Then you won't have to do that. You don't have to keep opening, putting down, picking up, opening. You can have them all open. And then you can put them on. All right, so let's go to the next one on. Close. I'm going to put another one on that same link. It's a pretty polymer one. Close. Let's go to the next link. Let's put this green one on. Close it. Let's put another one on that same one. Let's put this pink one on. And close. Okay. I just noticed I have a lot of orange. This kind of yellowish green one on. Close it up. And you can see what we have so far. Isn't that neat? This is going to be all around my wrist. Let's put these last two on here. Close that up. Go ahead, another green. Let's go with another color. Let's put this, let's put this one on. Yeah. It's fun because you can just kind of play with it. Snip that a little bit of that off. It's going to be really neat because no two will ever be alike. I mean, unless you sit down and actually make an effort to put the exact same beads on in the exact same order. And why would anybody want to do that? Want something a little different every time. I just wonder why it's called a cha-cha bracelet. I have no earthly idea. It's a lot of, it's fun and playful. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But that's all I'm going to do for now on camera. I think I'm going to go off camera and do a bunch. Then I'll come back and show you how to finish it up. Couldn't resist. Couldn't resist doing one more. Maybe two more, because I've got this green bead. We've got a lot of other green beads already on there. I want to shake it up color-wise a little bit. Okay, got this blue bead. Down there with this polymer one. Oops. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Remember the link. I have to go on with this polymer clay one. There may not be enough space. That's why I said do one or two. You just want to have at least one on every link. And you don't have to, but in the interest of a really nice full bracelet, it looks really great if you do. If you go ahead and put at least one on each ring, and if you can get two on, even better. It just looks so pretty. There we go. Close it up. So far, look at that. Isn't that neat? That is going to be gorgeous. Okay, let me finish this up off camera and I will come back and show you how to finish everything up. Be back in a sec. Okay, here we go. Here's our finished piece, or almost finished piece. Everything's on the chain. So now all we need to do is finish it off and make our clasp. And I started to just do a hook clasp, but I thought, what do you call it, lobster claw clasp, but I thought, oh, why not finish it off with something really pretty? So what we're going to do is make a clasp, and I thought I would use one of these beads to make a wrapped S clasp. I use this little one. Should I use this purple one? No, I'll use this little one right here. So what we're going to do is take a length of wire. I'm going to give myself about 4.5 inches, which might be too much. Doesn't need to be that big, about 4.5 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to put my bead on. There we go, right down in the center. of the wire. And I'm going to bring one end of my wire over to the other side and around my bead. And back to where it was in the beginning. Like that. So it's just wrapped around the bead. And then I'm going to bring the other wire around behind it over to meet it, and then keep going until it's back where it started. So now I have this. Just focusing. And so I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to bring my first wire around to meet the other one. And then I'm going to run away from it with the other wire. And I'm just going to keep wrapping the wire around itself until I have a little spiral in the center. See that? It's starting to get a little spiral. Just keep wrapping it around itself. And if it starts to bunch up, I can take my pliers and just kind of push the wires apart. Or I can do that with my fingers. I can just kind of push it out until the wires are beside each other, but not on top of each other. And I'm just going to keep winding the wire around itself until I have about an inch on both sides, an inch of wire on both sides. So that's what I have. And now I'm going to make a shepherd's hook on each side. And the shepherd's hook is going to go, this wire has been wrapping around this way, and it's going to go around, and the shepherd's hook is going to hook back around the other way. So I want to make a little bit of a curve so I can see the way it's going to go. Same on the other side. It's been going around this way. So I'm going to say it's going counterclockwise, and then it's going to flip back around here and go clockwise for my shepherd's hook. So now I have kind of a little wave going on here. So what I'm going to do is take my pliers. I want to make a tiny little loop on the end of my wire in the opposite direction of my little wave. So my wave is going this way. My loop is going to go the other way. So I'm going to grab the tip of my wire with the tip of my pliers, make a little loop. I'm just going to go about 3/4 of the way around because I don't want to close up my loop. I'm going to take my flat pliers and squeeze it until my loop becomes a little nub. I'm just going to squeeze the bottom part, the bottom open part, towards the top until I just have this little nub here. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, slide it down about 3/4 of the way down my pliers. This is the bottom where the opening is. I'm going to rotate my pliers away from the bottom until I have a little shepherd's hook. Looks like a little swan, isn't that cute? Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. My wave is going one way. My loop is going to go the other way. Teeny tiny 3/4 loop. When I get to 3/4, I'm going to squeeze it closed with my pliers the rest of the way until I have a nice little nub there. And I'm going to take my pliers, slide it down 3/4 of the way. I mean my wire 3/4 of the way down my pliers. Here's the bottom where it's open. I'm going to rotate my pliers away from the bottom until I have another shepherd's hook on the other side. So now here is my clasp. Now all I need to do is put it all together. Find the end of my chain, and I'm going to put jump ring on. I'm going to take an open jump ring, and I'm going to open it. And the proper way to open a jump ring is to put your pliers on one side, and then you can take your thumb on the other side and just push it down. And I'm going to attach that to the last ring on my chain. And then I'm going to put a closed jump ring on there as well and close it up. And because I like extra security, I'm going to put a second open jump ring on there. So I'm going to open my jump ring. Slide it on the last ring of my chain and then back through the closed jump ring and close it up. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Find the end of my chain here. Open up my jump rings. Slide it on that the last ring of my chain. Slide my closed jump ring on. Close it up. And then do the same with the other jump ring. Just open it. There we go. Slide it on the last ring of my chain and back through the closed jump ring. Close it up. And my clasp just hooks through the two jump rings. The one reason I love this kind of clasp is because it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, because it's a separate piece. You can open it on either side. And there it is. Oh my goodness, why is this so blurry? There, that was weird. Okay, and there it is. There's my piece. There's my cha-cha bracelet. Let's put it on. My goodness, there's so many beads on here. So pretty. And you can use any kind of beads. I just chose these because I've been wanting to put these two together for a while. Ooh, it's too big. So what I'm going to do is cut some of the, I'm going to cut some of the wire off, but you get the idea. There we go. Oh, I love it. And then I have this on the other side. I'm just going to take off some of the chain and move everything over, and I will be good to go. But isn't that gorgeous? Wow, there is so much going on here. It looks like more than it is. It looks like it's harder than it is to do. It's really more repetitive than anything else. You just put your links on your chain, whatever beads you want. My gosh, you would think that I had more on here than I do. I simply used my paper beads Okay, hi everybody. Sorry about that. We got a little bit of interference, but I'm back just to end the video and show you the finished product. This is our cha-cha bracelet. All those beautiful beads. And there's our nice clasp on the back. And that's it. That's our piece for the day. So pretty and so colorful. You can't even see the chain. There's so many beads on there. I love it. And I hope you'll love yours too. But anyway, that's our piece for the day. I hope you loved this, and I hope you love your cha-cha bracelet. We have all kinds of pretty things on there. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the bracelet. At the very least, it'll certainly brighten up a winter day. So I hope you, I've said that 3 times. I hope you liked this video. Please give me some feedback. Let me know whether or not you liked it. If you did like it, if you didn't like it, I'd like to know both, and I'd like to know why. And when you do make your cha-cha bracelet, please post pictures of it on the Facebook page of the library, because we like to see what you make. So until next time, hope you'll come back. Until you do, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, wherever you are in the week. And we hope to see you again. Until next time, so long.